Hello everyone, with Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 9, basically just releasing, I would like to give a type of review for this chapter because I actually was very excited for this chapter, and I did end up really enjoying this chapter, but there's a lot of odd misconceptions around this chapter because you do have to have a little Naruto knowledge to really enjoy this chapter, but regardless of that, I'll be still breaking down the entire chapter. Hopefully you enjoy, and make sure to watch to the end. So, the chapter starts off basically with Jura, the Ten Tails Claw Grime, he seems to be the leader of the group, asking a bunch of questions to Shikadai, Inojin, and Chocho, because they are, of course, the ones protecting Himawari, who is his target. They also ask him a bunch of questions, and he seems to be polite enough to just answer all of their requests. He doesn't really care. They know his plan. He knows that they can't really beat him or anything, but they are just scared. They are scared because this new powerful foe wants Himawari, and they basically have to face off against him. Shikadai is talking to Shikamaru basically through the jutsu that they use to communicate, with the help of Ino, of course, or the sensory team, and Jura pulls out a book. I'm assuming out of Code's claw marks because all of his clothing seems to be made of the same material, which allows him to teleport and I guess store things, which is a really cool, neat ability. Not really good for combat, at least it seems, but is good for just storing things and just like a tactic ability. For let's say if he wants to hide someone within his cloak. But getting back to the actual important stuff, yeah, he seems to be talking about Jura to Shikamaru, and Jura just pulls out a book and then starts giving tidbits of knowledge on KONOHA. He's like, oh, that's Shikamaru, this is his son Shikadai. And he even knows a part of what team that Shikadai is on, because he mentions Team 10 and Moegi. That's pretty much how he comes to the conclusion that this is the Hokage's son. Now, by Hokage, he does mean Shikamaru, as we find out in the next panel, where he says he wants just information on the whereabouts of Shikamaru's predecessor, that being the 7th Hokage or Naruto, because of course that is his target. And then they go on to talk about how he's looking for the Kyuubi or Kurama. Kyuubi just means Nine Tails. They're going to be using it a lot throughout this chapter. That is because I assume they don't really know his name, they just know him by the Nine Tails, which is fair. But Inojin, being the blabbermouth he is, basically gives away the information that Naruto hasn't been within this village for 3 years, which Jura is also seemed to be understanding of that and says, well, it is mysterious how the Kurama chakra or Kyuubi chakra led me to Himawari. This is truly a mysterious world. He then goes on about how just one question after another starts to pop up, given how he just seeks knowledge and he's just born in this world and he wants to understand everything. He then thinks that he will understand all that he wants with devouring Himawari, or at least more on the Nine Tails, because that is his only link to Naruto, who hasn't been seen in 3 years. Chocho also talks a bit about his outfit and hairstyle. She doesn't really, I guess, like it that much. She kind of sees it as goofy, but that doesn't really bother Jura. He just gets straight to business and tries to eat Himawari with the God Tree. After he traps Himawari within this God Tree, Shikadai is quick to respond and uses shadow paralysis jutsu so her body can have a little more space or wiggle room. This also prompts Inojin to use some of his Super Beast scrolls or art ninjutsu and basically summon this type of lizard with a long tongue, which since she has a lot of more space and wiggle room, he's able to grab her with the tongue and rip her out of the God Tree. Jura, again, who's not really trying to kill them and is kind of just holding back, is really just sitting there and commends their teamwork because they didn't really have to tell each other anything. This shows that the little tidbits of training and stuff that we've seen throughout the manga of Team 10 really paid off because their teamwork is A1 in this chapter. It's basically 10 out of 10, and it's the only reason that Himawari survives. But again, Jura is not trying to kill them and is not going all out. After that, everyone begins to question why the Kyuubi's involved. Given how it should just be dead due to Baryon mode, or it should at least not be in Himawari, which we basically get a swap to even Amato questioning, what's the matter, what is this guy? This is after he is spying on Kawaki being knocked out after Jura just pummeled him into a water tank through Delta's eyes. But we'll get back to that in just a moment. We get to Boruto basically in this Orochimaru hideout-esque place. We see the wooden snakes, we see the pillars that we saw in Naruto Gaiden, and him and Kashin Koji are basically standing there. Kashin Koji alerts Boruto that they are indeed on a move that is talking about the Shinju Claw Grime and Jura, and that Boruto needs to do something. Boruto instantly gets to work and uses the flying Raijin to teleport back to the village. And if you're wondering where the seal is, the frog is still, his main modes of transportation, and the frog, he can go wherever it goes. Shikamaru, Jura, and everyone is still questioning how he's following the QB and why that has anything to do with Himawari, because again, the QB should be dead. Jura then reaffirms that he is shocked as well as they are shocked, and he will get all the answers he seeks by devouring Himawari. And he tells Ino Shikacho that he means no harm to them, he just wants to complete his goal, but if they continue to stand in front of him, he will be forced to try to kill them. Kawaki starts to wake up and Delta is a bit alarmed because of course Delta's supposed to watch over him, but he seems to be very hurt, just having been knocked out by this new villain. Kawaki then says that he'll just heal, he'll just regen. This is a little callback to in part 1 when they discovered Kawaki for the first time, and it was shown that his body is a complete scientific ninja tool. Now, what this grants him is a bit of a 100 healings-esque type healing ability, because his cells constantly divide and they can expand and also soften, which causes his body to undergo rapid cellular division, being akin to something like the 100 healing amp, and we know how great that was in Naruto Shippuden. But with that being said, Boruto is here. Boruto is now in the village. He's basically looking at how Jura killed all of the Leaf Shinobi. Shikamaru's still filling in Boruto, and he's like, oh yeah, those got killed by Jura, and I guess the other god tree. These were the things that you were scared of. These were the things that you were warning us of. His next target is Himawari. Shikamaru then says this seems to be QB chakra related or Nine-Tails chakra related, and Boruto just replies, Nine-Tails. Kawaki, not knowing what's going on the other end of their private call, he alerts the sensing team that Boruto has entered the village. He confirms that he is Kawaki speaking. He also says that Boruto is suppressing his chakra near the main gate where the Jonin are killed. Then he asks Boruto, why are you hiding stuff? Are they your friends, those monsters? Boruto asks the same question that we're all asking. Are you really the type to be playing around here, Kawaki, especially when Konoha's under attack? Basically alluding at the fact that, okay, Kawaki, what are you doing just standing here? Konoha is in big trouble, especially my little sister. Kawaki seems to just reaffirm that Boruto is also the enemy, therefore he is also attacking Konoha. Boruto then suggests a compromise in that they should deal with the Shinju first, and Kawaki can just team up with him, along the same lines of what he tried to do with Code once they met the Shinju in the other dimension. Kawaki seems to think this is mockery though. What I'm gathering from these panels is that Kawaki just seems to be a bit confused at why Boruto is so nonchalant, if Boruto is friends with these Shinju, and if he should trust Boruto still. Kawaki has been skeptical of Boruto, Momoshiki, all of the Otsutsuki and everything going on with them ever since Boruto chapter 66 basically. And at the end of Boruto part 1, that didn't do anything but confirm his theories when Momoshiki just took over and let him escape. This is perfectly in character with Kawaki, and it's something that I bet he would have done anyway. But it being in character brings a question. Does that mean it's smart? Me personally, I think that he's perfectly justified in the reasons of, not knowing what Boruto is going to do or not knowing when Momoshiki is going to take over. Given how last time Momoshiki took over, Naruto would have been dead without Kawaki's help. But still, I think he should try to talk to Boruto and see if Momoshiki is still the issue. Later on in the chapter, that does get confirmed to Kawaki though. Just wait. Boruto being an enemy of the Leaf and enemy of Kawaki, Kawaki instantly opens his dojutsu and attacks Boruto. Boruto easily evading all of these techniques and just walking slowly towards Kawaki. Kawaki then grows one of his giant scientific ninja tool arms and rushes at Boruto while Boruto just stares at him with a stoic expression, not moving an inch. Boruto easily evades this, punches him in the gut, and throws him to the ground. Delta is just sitting there watching, or should I say Amato. Boruto just makes fun of Kawaki while he's on the ground, saying he's kind of pathetic and didn't even train properly. Kawaki activates Karma like the karma merchant he is and gets mad. This causes Boruto's karma to resonate, and Kashin Koji basically saying it's time to get out of Dodge, it's time to get out that village, you're not going to be able to control it. Confirming my theories in all the videos I made that Boruto cannot properly control his karma yet, or again in the time skip, without Momoshiki taking over and Momoshiki doing something, meaning that's why his base is so strong, because he's forced it to. Boruto, while his karma is activating and Kashin Koji is telling him all that, quickly just flies away from Kawaki and flies away from the village. I'm assuming he thinks this is going to stop the karma resonance. It might, but we just don't see Boruto again. Going back to the Jigen or Jura fight, I still think he's Jigen. But no, jokes aside, we just see Inogen flying with Himawari. which, if you remember, Jura told Naino Shikacho or Team 10 that if they continued to get in his way, he would be forced to kill them, which he didn't really want to do at first, showing that he still has that passive demeanor, kind of like Jigen, and just seeks knowledge. He starts charging up a miniature tail beast bomb because he is still the 10 tails, and Shigadai instantly responds with Shadow Possession Jutsu. He thinks that this is just going to stop Jura, but Jura is far too powerful and simply opens one eye or blinks and a tail beast bomb appears, being shown that he can just move his body freely. This does prompt Chocho, since Jura is not serious and Jura is not really caring what he does to these people. He's just trying to get them out of the way. Chocho can off guard him and kind of just shoves his body. She doesn't do any damage. She doesn't even like blitz or anything. He kind of just seems to don't care, but this throws off the trajectory of the bomb. The bomb basically hits behind the village and blows up so massive that even hitting behind the village, people inside of the village still get hit with the shockwaves, and the shockwaves increase within the air. This is shown with a great DC panel by Ikimoto finally, and everyone is just shocked. The entirety of Team 10 is basically like, oh, if we got hit with that, we wouldn't survive. We have to run away. This guy's way too strong. We do get a peep into how selfless Himawari is though. While she's riding with Inogen and all of Team 10, she seems to be so sad that she's putting everyone through this turmoil and putting everyone in danger. So she's just like, please drop me off. It's just me. I don't want to be a burden to anyone, and I don't want to put anyone's lives in danger. Jura is like kind of confused why they're resisting so much, despite it all being over if they just handed over Uzumaki Himawari. And this is more on his thirst of knowledge journey. He says this must be instinct or the survival instinct, and this is crucial information for us as well, continuing his research on the human race and just on instincts in general, thirsting and feeding for more knowledge. Like I said, Jura's just holding back, not trying and nonchalant, so he's just basically letting them escape or letting them fly away. Even though he did try to launch a miniature Biju bomb, that was just because he told him he would do so. We've seen with the Chocho attack that he doesn't really care if it hit or didn't hit, because he only tried to do that so they can get out of his way. Now he's just watching them run away from him and absorbing all of the information and newfound knowledge that he gathered from this encounter. We see the goats themselves, Sumire and Sarada, continuing on from last chapter, still running around trying to find Himawari and Team 10, but they see a giant explosion in the distance, and they're wondering if they can make it in time, and they're like, hurry up. Shigadai then calls to Inogen to pick him and Chocho up, because they assume that they're still in grave danger when Jura's really just sitting there. We then get teleported in a very familiar room. If you've watched Naruto or Boruto or read any of the one-shot mangas, you know what this room is. This room is basically the tail beast inner mind space. We've seen it in every part of Naruto, we've seen it in Boruto, we've seen it in everything, right? And there's just a bunch of tails behind Himawari, and it says, good grief, never expected it to be the 10 tails guy, to be sniffed out like this, ... This prompts Himawari to be a bit confused and just look behind her. In the panel before this, we see how Himawari's eyes basically lose all of their light, and it turns into this trance-like state, showing that something was happening to her. Well, this is what was happening to her. We then get another shot, and it just says, or asked, should I say, little girl, do you know who I am? Or do you know me? This is a baby nine-tailed fox, baby Kurama, or a new person in general. We don't know because the chapter ends right there. And many people have been theorizing this for years, that she would inherit some of the nine tails, but let me give my take on this because there is so many misconceptions going around. Now, as you know, Boruto and Himawari inherited the nine tails chakra or Naruto's chakra from Naruto himself. Your chakra pool is of course made up of your mother and father's chakra pool, his chakra pool also having six paths chakra and nine tails chakra all intertwined within it, thus giving them, Boruto and Himawari, whiskers and bits of the nine tails chakra. Now I have an entire video theorizing what this could be and why she would have the nine tails chakra. I'll link that in the description below or the comment section. Go check that out for a full explanation. But just for a little minor explanation so I won't just sound like a broken record, yes, she should have this chakra. Yes, this makes sense. No, Boruto should not have as much chakra as her, nor a beast. This is for a multitude of reasons. One reason given that they aren't the same person. The second reason given that even if he did, Momoshiki would probably just absorb it or not allow it to coexist, as he wants to be the only one who has Boruto's body to himself and have all of the power to himself. But many people will say, oh, I thought it was supposed to die with Baryon mode. This doesn't make sense. This is a plot hole. No, it is not at all. But Himawari having the 9 tails is not a plot hole because beasts always reincarnate. This is a known fact throughout Naruto Shippuden, the Minato one-shot, and just every form of tail beast lore. You might be saying, well, isn't Baryon mode supposed to be different? No, it's not supposed to be different, but the only thing that was different in the fact of Kurama's death. He said it was going to be a completely different process because no one just burns through QB chakra or 9 tails or tail beast chakra in general like that with Baryon mode, and all of the chakra within Naruto would be fizzled out. This does not include his remnants such as in Boruto or Himawari. Many people also think this lowers stakes or it gets rid of the fact that Kurama died and it was tear jerking or whatever. No, Kurama still was the power of Naruto and was with Naruto all through part 1 and Shippuden and formed a bond with Naruto. It still has stakes because Naruto still lost that power and Kurama still had to die for 3 years. This is all assuming though this is the same Kurama with the same memories. This could just as well be a 9 tailed beast without the memories of Kurama. This is kind of hinted at when he asked Himawari, do you know me? But Himawari should already know him because Kurama is scared of her from the Naruto one-shot and the day he became Hokage. With that being said, it is not a plot hole at all, and it could make sense for a multitude of reasons. It also could just be an entirely new tailed beast in the form of a 9-tailed fox. Past that though, just go check out my other Himawari video for another explanation on this. The art and everything in this chapter truly was peak. I'm not even trying to gas it just because I love Boruto, but Ikimoto truly snapped off with this chapter. A bunch of shots of Jura, Boruto, Kawaki, the Tail Beast Bomb, Inojin, Shikadai, Chocho, even the chapter cover page just looks A1. It looks magnificent. You can tell his line art has gotten way better, his proportions have gotten way better, and just his overall design and detailing has gotten way better. We even see this when they're in Orochimaru's hideout, and you can kind of see the way he kind of warps the surrounding area because that's how the hideout is supposed to be, and you also see the mountains protruding within the back. Even Kawaki looks great this chapter, even after all of the L's that he's been taking. But that pretty much sums up the review. I absolutely love this chapter. I have really no gripes about this chapter. It's just a 10 out of 10 in my books. From the art, to how unpredictable it was, to how much sense and how many callbacks it had, to all of the questions that it answered as well. And we got Boruto Karma lore and more incoming next chapter. I'm even more excited for chapter 10, given all the build up that chapter 9 just did and how much is going to pay off in the next month. With that being said though, yes, 10 out of 10 chapter. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll be doing these chapter reviews every month. And goodbye.